afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 1st, 2019. SPY down zero point 0.6 and Qs down zero point 0.2. Was looking like a nice grind higher. And if you recall yesterday, even though I tried not to say it too often, I did think that yesterday's sell-off was a bit of a shakeout. That the news kind of was selling, but in the context of an uptrend, that it was serving to be more of a shakeout in this uptrend. And going into today, we did not have a bearish bias. We were more neutral, wanted to see if we were actually going to get follow through. And up until, I guess, the afternoon, that was looking to be true. And then once we got news about no deal between the US and China on the trade agreement there, we got this sell-off. Okay, so once we got this kind of a similar type of sell-off that we got to yesterday, okay, it really leaves us in a similar position that we really have to see if we're going to get a counter move and what that will look like. So notice how, right, if yesterday in the selling you had just said, oh yeah, let's, the market says lower, we're all going to chase, right? You wouldn't have seen much follow through. In fact, right, you would have seen this recover all the way back up and actually break above the area it was before the news came out, right? That's why if you've been following the market wrap for a long time, we don't just kind of chase price and say, oh, well, the market got red, so we want to get red, right? We're keeping things in context. And in the context that we are in, right, the daily is still in an uptrend, right? Now, it is starting to weaken. I think that we have to be aware of, which is why we switched to a neutral bias, and we'll still have the same neutral bias going into tomorrow. So you can see the weekly still remains, and the monthly here starting to put in another bit of a doji. That's what we got last month now. So we're going to be neutral. What will be telling will be if we get some kind of hourly sell set up. That will be our chance to initiate some kind of bearish bias and then see if we get follow through. Okay. All right, so Qs and SPY, neutral going into tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some kind of inside bar. Kind of expected that today, but what we got today was actually plenty of volatility. I was wondering if we were going to get a rest tomorrow, and it turns out that the market had lots of moving to do still. But we'll see. Tomorrow will be Friday, last day of the week. We'll see if we get some of a rest there. There's no reason why Friday necessarily has to be that, but after 2 days of some significant price action, I do expect the market to settle down a little bit. Okay, but I don't expect trading to settle down. Okay, lots of stuff today. I know you can't even see the entire list here. So what I'll do, I'll just delete them as we go over them. Okay, so it'll kind of give you an idea of what the calls were like in the room and what we were focused on. Okay, so starting off today, the first thing that was called was actually the CLVS. This was a gap down on the CLVS. Wanted to play it lower. And then this was given as a play, but it didn't trigger. Okay, so it was given as a play. You can see that we were starting to set up a breakdown right there. So it was under $9. Okay, triggered in if it breaks $9. And the stop was right here over 9.20, so only a 20-cent stop. Never triggered, invalidated the play, and so that play was canceled. Now the next play that was called was the PS. PS was called as a short, and here it is. Again, you can see the similarities between the CLVS that we just looked at. This was basing out sideways. The call on this was under 1960. Okay, and then broke down. We got a nice target right away there. I was looking for new lows as the target, and so we got some out there. Back half ended up rallying all the way back up, so the back half did fail, but nice quick drop and overall profitable play on the PS. All right, so that was the second play. Third play, we had a play called from Sammy here on the OI. OI underneath this base here, right? So some very similar looking plays, just standard stuff. The pattern shows up, the gap is good, and you have a high odds play, so you play it, right? So this was played as a breakdown underneath that bottoming tail. Again, another nice gap down here on the OI, damaging the larger charts. Looks lower on every time frame. Weekly looks lower. You can see here's the red bar now that's created by that. The weekly, the monthly, right, also looking lower. So nice time frame alignment. That is a good call there on the OI, right? And actually still making new lows here into the final 15 minutes there. So this was good to hold all day. Per the call, they are still holding some. So very, very nice on the OI, right? All right, and then moving on, the next play that came up was the WDC. WDC was called in the room here, over 30, triggered right here. And then first target was the retest of the highs. Next target was 58.50. Now, got a little bit lucky on this. I did say at 58.50, let's look to take the whole thing. That's what we did. That ended up being the high before that news came out. So got a little bit lucky there. That was just because that was around 4 Rs on the final piece. So 58.50. So that was nice on the WDC. I know a lot of people played it. Did have to be a little bit patient with it to get follow through there into lunch, but management ended up being pretty nice there. Nice exit there on the WDC. Before the WDC took off, though, we did have the TiVo was called as well. TiVo, I was looking to play this base breakout here, basing up here at the highs, right? Nice base there, looking to break out. Instead, I wanted lower, so no trigger, and then we just canceled that play. So we got those out of the way now. You can see kind of the similarities between the TiVo, that base breakout, and the KEM base breakout. So that was a nice base breakout there, and then eventually went up 2 Rs there all the way to 22.75. That was over that base right there. This was actually called off the 2-minute. You can see it just fine on the 5-minute, which is always good when you have multiple time frames, all giving you nice setups there. See, there it is off the 2 breakout. All right, again, nice gap on the KEM, right? Tried to move up, was getting just a little bit of selling there, and then gapped over it. So that was the KEM. FIVN was an idea in the morning that didn't trigger as well. And then into the later in the day, AAWW. Nice gap down on the AAWW, right? Clearing support, breaking the recent uptrend on the daily. Okay, and then another retracement, base, and a breakdown. Okay. So very nice follow through on the AAW. Another nice play there. ABMD, very similar in the morning. So hopefully you're starting to see that all these patterns look very, very similar. See this? ABMD, sell setup, base, and then breakdown. Right? So I thought today there was a lot to do. And if you're overwhelmed by today, I think that is good too. That means that you're finding a lot of nice plays and a lot of things are following through. Now, that doesn't mean everything worked, and that's going to lead us to the one play that didn't work. The one play. Nearly a flawless day here. We went after this INSM. This was a call from me underneath this base right here. So underneath 1860. Underneath 1860, looking for a retest of the lows. We only got about 30 cents, and then it popped and stopped. So that was the one play that didn't work. No regrets, really. I like that it was breaking down here on the daily, right, into an area that hadn't been relevant since pretty much before 28 or the beginning of the year there. And so got the little bit of a breakdown, got a little bit of the follow through, and just couldn't get enough there to get out a target. So that was the one play that we didn't follow through on. Ended up not being a gap. The selling did come in. So I did like the relative weakness. I did like the larger time frames. So this was the one play though that didn't work. Everything else was pretty nice there. So that was a little bit frustrating because I kind of felt like we were on a roll there, and then this one kind of, you know, brought things back down. But that's fine. Some nice plays overall. A nice day. So I think it should have been a nice day. If you aren't too overwhelmed by the opportunities that are out there, you know, then I think you should have been able to have a pretty profitable day. You know, if it's still a little bit overwhelming, then I would definitely check out the room, because these are the things out of the hundreds and hundreds of things that even just reporting earnings, you know, these were the things that we called out, that we gave you numbers, right, and then managed as well. Okay, so if you're kind of looking at all these and saying, well, how come I didn't find these, or I'm looking at different things, right, and you want to go and find, right, the right setups or the things that you can consistently play, right, then you want to maybe check out the room and see if that a little bit of additional focus is all you need to start really taking advantage of these kind of days, which I think for day traders really are important to kind of your performance throughout the year. Okay, so have to be ready to go, have to know what to focus on, okay, and kind of, you know, just like take the good with the bad. I thought we were really on a roll this morning, okay, and not that the INSM ruined the day or anything, but it was kind of surprising that after all those that you saw, yes, a few of them didn't even trigger, but that was kind of, after a string of really nice plays, that was kind of the first one that didn't want to follow through, or at least enough to get out of target. So, but overall, nice day. I mean, this is what we expected. This is kind of the earnings season that we expected for traders and for us to take advantage of. So hopefully you are too. All right. And if you think that some of these plays match up with what you would like to be trading, then check out the link in the description. All right, I think there's still a promotion going on. I do think it's going to be ending pretty soon, okay? But if you do want to take advantage, now is a good time. All right, lots of plays, lots of things to kind of see how the methodology works, okay? All right. Hope you did well today. Hope you've been having a nice week. We'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week, and we'll see what the market brings us. All right, have a good evening.